This is Mad Max again here for Tactical Milsim Magazine. We're here for Operation Sovereign Fury, put on by Mind Games Productions here in Perry, Georgia, at this fine facility named Guardian Center. A very impressive center here. Here I want to introduce my friend named Javier Franko. He has a blog that he's running called OneGruntsOpinion, and this is a very impressive blog that he's running. It's to help our soldiers suffer from PTSD, share their stories, and so without any further ado, Javier, introduce yourself and
yes, my name is Javier, nickname, Darkhorse, or call sign Darkhorse. I started OneGruntsOpinion a couple months ago, just before the Expo line was held in Pittsburgh. And I started OneGruntsOpinion as an opportunity for me to talk about the more unique aspects of airsoft. Everybody talks about gear, everybody talks about guns. I just kind of wanted to hit it from a whole different perspective. I think maybe call it a philosophical perspective. And I've always been an advocate of PTSD treatment and airsoft being a tool for that. So I thought this would be an incredible platform for me to carry that message on, being a veteran myself, rated for PTSD. Knowing other vets that are suffering through it. You and I know vets in the sport now. Absolutely. They talk about its benefit and its help for them. I've never said it was like a silver bullet or like a cure-all. I've always said that it's one more tool that we think we should explore.
It's ironic that you say that, because I had an opportunity to meet a former Marine, go by the name of Gunny, and he was telling me that he shared a story on your blog, and he's here right now about his experiences from suffering from PTSD, and he said it's very therapeutic by him getting involved in airsoft that it's helped new PTSD.
And I think there's a lot more stories like this. When I originally put my story out at first, I did it as anonymous, just because I wanted other vets to read it, see it, and understand it, and feel like they can relate, and then maybe I can push them out a little bit, because I know there are more guys out there with great stories, and I want to hear those stories. And if I can compile those stories, I can take them to somebody important in the VA or important down in DC and say, I'm not a famous guy, these guys aren't famous guys, but all of these stories are important, and all these men are important. Now, you can stand here and you can ignore me, but you cannot ignore this stack of testimonials.
It's ironic you say that, because you take a look at a lot of the suicides that are taking place in the military. Is
22
off
a day.
the charge.
22 a day.
22 veterans a day. 22 soldiers are taking lives and a lot of PTSD. Now you got to remember, this war's been going on for 10 years. It's one of the longest wars that our country's been involved in. So this doesn't just affect the veteran; it also affects the family too, doesn't it?
It does. I mean, for the last 2 years that I was in the Army, in the Army National Guard, I was assigned honor guard detail. I went to funerals every single day. I went to 4, 5, 6 funerals a day. So it's the toughest work I've ever done. I mean, I've been in combat, I've been to Iraq, but that was the toughest work I've ever done. It's emotionally taxing. And I think about it now, and I think 22 vets every single day.
22 veterans a day.
Is the average. And half of the 22 are Operation Iraqi Freedom or Operation Enduring Freedom veterans. So that's 11 guys. We're losing more guys at home than we are in combat. And I think that's a whole other war that nobody's talking about. And I think in airsoft, for the longest time, we talk about military, we talk about wanting to bring, get closer to that. We want the sport to grow. There's got to be a positive avenue for it to make a social impact. And I think this is a social impact it can make. As long as, we can convince guys to be brave enough to step forward about how this is helping them. And that's what I really want. I don't want money. I don't want, I don't need a celebrity.
It's not about wealth or fame. It's about helping the vet.
All I want is I want those words. I want somebody to email me their message, their story, like I did, like other guys have sent to me. I want them to send me their story. And the story is the most powerful weapon I have. Other than that, I don't even, that's what I want, that's what I need.
Well, how can they contact you to share their story?
They can contact me at OneGruntsOpinion@gmail.com. That's my blog's Gmail. You guys can look me up on Facebook, OneGruntsOpinion. I'm writing an opinion about every 2 weeks. It's about sport. It's all about the stuff that's sports, what's going on. It always trickles back to the PTSD and kind of where it all ties in together. And I'm also working with, I have a good friend here, Trevor Armstrong, I introduced him to you. Trevor, he won't mind me saying this because he's a great friend. He says he has to thank me every day. He does it. 2 months ago, he wasn't playing airsoft. He's been diagnosed with PTSD and TBI. 2 months ago, but one more, got him in touch with me and said, look, you need to talk to us. He started playing airsoft. He's felt 100 times better. He's here at his first national hop today for this weekend. And I want to do that. I want testimonials, and I want guys to be like, I've never tried airsoft. You can contact me. I'll help you. I'll show you the steps. I'll tell you what gear you need to get. I'll hook you up with somebody in your area that can mentor you, because it's important not to just throw these guys out there without somebody to guide them.
Now, this also, families, you want to share these stories too, because this PTSD is almost like a silent killer. So we don't want our veterans to be forgotten. Just like the Korean War, they call it the forgotten war. We want to make sure that we support our veterans. And Javier, you're doing an outstanding job. I want to encourage you, to do what you do. Anything that I can do with TacSim, TacSim magazine can do to help you out, don't hesitate.
It's simply telling guys that it's time to step forward, that it's time to write our stories down. And just like I said, send it to me at OneGruntsOpinion@gmail.com. It can be anonymous, that's okay. I prefer that you put your name to it and a contact info, so if you got to refer back and ask more questions. I mean, it's a tough situation, but we were brave enough to get out and go to war. Time it's brave enough to stand up and fight this one.
Now, again, a lot of this information is confidential, but if you want your story to be published and shared, I'm pretty sure, but just don't hold this stuff in, reach out. I want to encourage you to support OneGruntsOpinion. It's an awesome thing that you're doing, Javier Franko. And so, again, I want to shake your hand and thank you so much for, everything that you're doing. This is Mad Max here with Javier Franko, coming to you live from Perry, Georgia.